Welcome to Around Town, facing what's going on here in the greater Concord area. And we are in, supposedly, summer now. And even though it's still a couple of days left of spring, but by the time this is on, it will be summer. And I don't care, and Paul Brogan is good enough to come back in today and have a chat with me, and as we do our then and now, I guess, of Concord. But it's I've always the weather was kind of dumpy 1st of June, as it always is. Seems like it, well, all around Memorial Day. But I've always said when graduation hits, the weather just automatically changes, and it did, because last weekend it got warm. This week with Concord High School and Merrimack Valley having theirs, and I don't know if anybody else has left or not.
I don't think so.
I mean,
Brady, did they have theirs?
They had theirs already.
They had theirs, okay.
Pembroke, I don't know if Pembroke has had theirs yet or not, but I know Merrimack Valley and Concord are the two left so far that I know of. And it's always hot down Memorial Field. I've never seen it. I know there are a couple of years they had rain or something, but it is so hot down there that, they have those robes on. I mean, you had green robes for Brady?
Yes, ours were green.
And you were inside, though.
We were inside, yes. We didn't do it outside.
I wonder why they never did, though.
I don't know. It had been a tradition, I think, for St. John's that they always did it inside. So
really?
I think it just carried over since it was the regional. And I don't think they wanted to worry about possible weather conditions this way. It went on regardless. So.
Well, as I've said many times, I don't know why they don't use the Everarena.
True. That's certainly for Concord High, that would work very well.
Of course it could. I mean, I know Verizon down in Manchester, they've had Londonderry up there along with the Manchester schools, some of them, but still, I would think they'd go inside if it was that bad. But anyway, so Never's Band starts tonight, and starts their season of playing, and 4th of July is on the horizon.
On the horizon, just a matter of weeks away.
I know. God,
it's amazing how. And Dairy Queen has its sign up now.
Yes, the sign's up.
And they're hiring, they're doing interviews this week, the sign says. So I would imagine before the 4th of July they will probably open.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think they're a little behind time.
Oh, I would have thought they would have wanted to be open before Memorial Day, and taking advantage of the kind of weather we've had.
Well, that was the goal. I thought was before Memorial Day they're going to be open, but something must have. But I don't see anything else going in there though yet.
No, nothing.
And I thought there was more.
There was talk of something else was going to go in there, a service mart. One of the gas things, and
I thought back there was something else going to come in, but so far nothing. So I don't know whether it fizzled out or what. But
and there was supposed to be another chain restaurant that was going to go, and that was talked about. So. I guess we'll have to wait and report to people once we find out.
And it's funny, you go by the mall and there's hardly any traffic there.
I was up there the other day, and there aren't even people walking around like there used to. You used to see and there aren't even people doing that anymore. I don't know what the future holds for that place, because I don't know what they're going to do, because you read, national newspapers and magazines, and both Sears and Penny's are on a precipice, and they're closing stores in other places.
Yeah, I know.
And so if they were to ever go, what do you have left up there? You have 2 Bon-Ton stores as anchors and really nothing else.
I don't know. And I haven't seen the Halloween sign go up yet.
Right after the 4th of July, it'll go up.
Well, last year was June.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah. And like I told somebody last week on TV here, on regular TV, they were advertising Christmas lights on the tree. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
I saw. Yeah. And also those Christmas lights that you can set up outside your house, and they do the design. Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's early.
That is very early.
And of course, Hallmark is...
Next month is Christmas in July.
Yes, they're starting at 10 days of non-stop Christmas movies and introducing the ornaments of the year. And Then they take a break in August.
August,
And then they'll start it in September.
And then it just goes downhill from there.
I know it.
I mean, they can't even wait until after Halloween to start their Christmas movies. They now
No.
start those before Halloween.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
It's crazy.
Oh, I wish it would be different, but it's not going to happen. I mean, that's somebody, they have groups, the focus groups, I guess, that tell them that's what you're supposed to do. But they don't ask just the average American person what they think about it, because I'm so sick of it before Halloween that it has lost all of its magic and all of the things we talk about the way that it used to be.
Yeah.
When it really represented a significant part of our lives, but now it's just Christmas. Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad.
Yeah, it really is, because boy, it never used to be that way.
No.
And I said, I've got to start fundraising again pretty quick.
You do, for the lights and the parade.
Because I've got to order 20 of those socket strings. There was 100 on them, on a string, to replace all those that got vandalized last year, and that harness there. So I mean, I'm looking at probably a good $1,000 or more just to buy that stuff.
Well, hopefully people will reach deep in their pockets this year.
I'll never reach deep, all right.
Yeah. Did you attend the Memorial Day parade?
No.
I didn't see much about that in the newspaper.
There was nothing in there about it.
No.
Very sad.
Really? Yeah.
Very, very sad.
Well, are you still considering taking it on?
Well, if they want me to. But
because I think you could, you understand it enough that I think you could restore it to a certain level that it used to be, something that was very important. And certainly any veterans in Concord, anyone who had ever served in the military or families, widows, etc., it meant a great deal that there was that significance. The flags looked very nice downtown that they put up. Well, it did.
Yeah, they do.
Because we grew up, there were always flags. There was that older gentleman that used to go around.
Johnny Harrington.
Yes, okay.
God.
Used to put up all the flags. And it meant a great deal, and it was exciting. And
Johnny Harrington, he had his push cart.
Yes.
And he would roll them up at the end of the day.
Yes.
Or he would put them out.
He took it very seriously.
He was in his 70s easily, and he would go up and down the side of the streets. And he didn't stop just at Bridge Street. He went all the way down to Court Street.
Right,
or all the way down to,
beyond Angelo's.
That's right.
And
and the other side down toward Capitol Center for the Arts. It just wasn't between Pleasant Street and Bridge Street or whatever.
And it was wonderful. It was
that poor guy. He really.
But nothing stopped him. He was dedicated and loyal.
He was.
And he must have been a veteran probably of World War I.
Yeah.
I would think.
Oh, I think so too.
But he took that responsibility, much like Minnie used to take the responsibility of the Salvation Army. We had a group of people in Concord who took those things very seriously and wanted to contribute, and did, and were wonderful role models. That's one of the reasons, I'm sure, that you became very involved in community and the Grange and everything else, is because we were surrounded by people who donated their time and their energy to adding something to the city.
Yep.
So
I know, and it just, when I think back about the mall, though, I mean, just they got the Hatbox Theater, and I don't hear of anything else big going on. They used to have shows in there, like boat shows, different things, but I don't hear nothing. There's no promotions.
No, I don't know what the future holds. I mean, Target across the street always seems to be busy, and Michael's, and some of those that are not really part of the mall. But I don't see people going to Target and then going across the street to the mall. They go specifically to go there, or Home Depot, or somewhere else. And I don't know. Well, we never needed it to begin with. I mean, it was because people were doing it and somebody was willing to build it.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't a necessity. No. And for a lot of people, it's, a 5 or 6 mile drive. And in today's, they don't want to spend that time or the traffic, to go. And there's no longer a bookstore. There's no longer a pharmacy.
No.
So many of the things that you would go for.
God, there used to be CVS in there.
Yes.
There was a toy store.
And there was a very nice
Bookstore was in there.
And so you could make a day of it. And of course, as we've discussed before, the food court consists of a pizza place and Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
And, when they built the mall in Manchester, I remember there was a huge restaurant, Memory Lane, that was part of the actual mall, and there were all kinds of other things that drew people in. But here, there's not really an incentive, so I don't see it.
In downtown, and you see people sitting out there eating.
Yes.
But there's nothing as far as shopping goes.
No.
Remember years ago, my gosh, they'd have their Christmas in July sales, and then came old-fashioned bargain days.
Yes, that's what it was called then. Yes, it was great.
Old-fashioned dumb days.
But you got some great deals.
Then we had the antique car parade on Thursday night. Jim Milliken got me into that one, doing that, and it was kind of fun.
Now, isn't the sidewalk sale thing coming up in a couple of weeks? Because they do it in June now, correct? I think.
Yes, the last of June.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because the
They
heat.
get off.
Well, they found that doing it in late August, it tended to be. Last year, they said it was the biggest one of all because the weather was only in the 70s and sunny and pleasant in end of June, whereas the year before, at the end of July, it had been in the 90s, and it discouraged some people. And I guess some people in July go away, tending more, whereas at the end of June, before 4th of July time, you still tend to have more people local. I haven't been to it in 5 or 6 years.
And I haven't either.
But, and it's not... it's all people that have come from elsewhere now that, sell the wares. It's no longer really your downtown merchants because there really aren't very many.
Yeah.
Years ago, Edward Fine would have stuff out, and Solomon's and the Youth Center, and, and so you could go there and buy stuff really inexpensively to give to people for Christmas that you didn't particularly like because it was all sort of cast-offs, but you weren't spending a lot and there was at least a selection.
Sure.
And it was a totally different than now. So, it's fine if you want to go for the fried dough and the cotton candy, but that's more or less what it
you've
is
got
now.
all kinds of food down there, all this Oriental stuff, not Oriental, but everything, Mideastern,
Yes.
whatever.
Did you go to the Kiwanis this year?
No.
They had good weather. I drove by and I saw it. People seemed to be having fun. But
I miss the days when they had the fireworks down there, but... And of course, when they lost the booth inside, that took away from it.
It did.
So now it's just strictly an outdoor carnival. I haven't heard it. I assume they must have done very well, but I haven't heard yet.
Well, good. I hope so. It's a good cause, and it's important, and it's money well used, and it'd be nice to see the Kiwanis be able to continue to do it. But I'm sure, I'm sure they struggle much like the Grange does to try to get people involved and, a new generation. Because a new generation, so many want to sit around with their gadget in their hand, doing something.
Oh, yeah,
And, I see it all the time. When you go now to a restaurant, if people are waiting to go in, they're not sitting and talking to each other. They're sitting there with their electronic device, totally,
Well, you talk about that.
Yes.
Now, last week at the legislature,
Yes.
what was funny was, of course, it was on Thursday.
Yes.
And they had the big hearing on TV, much like it is.
Oh, the Comey hearing. Yes.
Well, I think the House itself, there was a lot of absentees. But the ones that were there, I think it was a good half of them, had their earplugs in, they're watching on there about and we were only in session for about 45 minutes before they called it. How foolishness. But they had to see that session, boy. They had to watch that TV.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's what it was. So now we have our last session's coming up next week. But
Wow. Is that the half day or whatever it is? Do they still do that?
well, this was his last week. It was a half day. It wasn't even a half day.
No, the hats. The one
the hat?
the hat thing.
No, I haven't seen that happen for a few years.
No, a few years. No.
No.
Mm.
No, they used to have a couple that would wear. Well, they still do,
Yeah.
but I never hear that anymore.
No. Because I remember Susan Emerson and friend
Yes, yeah.
Window Bow used to try to out hat each other with
Yeah.
the biggest,
Oh,
most gaudy
yeah.
hats.
Oh gosh, yes. I
But-
haven't seen Sue Emerson for a long time. I don't know. She hasn't been well,
Oh.
so I don't know what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're at a recess for another year.
Wow.
So
Amazing how
we'll be
fast.
back into
It
next
seems like you were
year.
just talking about, the beginning of the
I know.
session, and here it is. So,
Yeah,
wow,
it's crazy.
it is.
But
You feel it's been a pretty good year?
I think it's been a lousy year.
Well, it didn't seem like as much was accomplished as sometimes.
It didn't.
Granted, just watching Channel 9 or
Yeah.
or reading the paper, but it just didn't seem like there was a lot that received attention or something. And
There were a lot of bills that got put on the table,
mm-hmm,
so that means they're basically gone.
mm-hmm.
And the Senate, they acted on some, but I don't know. It just seemed to me like it was. I'm used to the first couple of sessions I was in, terms,
Yes.
and we were going every
Yeah.
week there. And stuff. This
Mhm.
year, nothing.
Huh.
Hardly nothing. It was just it was weird.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
usually the first term of a new session,
Yes.
the first year, you're really busy.
Mm-hmm.
But this year was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Wow.
And I'm so tired of watching TV and seeing all the protests around this country. God.
There's a lot of anger out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Tremendous amount of anger.
Trump thinks he's so wonderful, but
Mm.
they're all against him. But I don't know. But,
No, it's just and even regular television. There's not much on.
No?
There's very little to. With all the channels available,
I know.
and yet you can
Yep.
sit there for 10 minutes going through trying to find something to watch, and there's nothing. Whereas, I know we've talked about it in the past, but 50 years ago, when you could only get a few channels,
Yes.
you always found something to watch.
Yep.
And
I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm like last night. I'm so sick of game shows.
yes, there's way too many.
They-
Game shows and reality shows are just,
I mean, they brought back, like last night, the ABC's brought back Family Feud. So with between Steve Harvey on there and Michael Strahan, it's like, my God, they're overexposed. And then you've got Love Connection, and that's on, and you've got $100,000 Pyramid. And Match Game, they're all back, but they're different from the other
Yeah.
ones because
they've got the title,
they're
but
more.
it's not the.
It's more foolishness.
Yeah.
I remember on Match Game, Gene Rayburn used to
Yeah.
fool around a little bit.
Oh, a little, right. But
Now this is just
no,
totally
they're going for.
crazy.
I don't know why people want to go on and embarrass themselves and look like idiots.
Oh, I know.
But they do. They try to one up each other
Yeah.
to who can be the biggest fool.
Oh, I know.
And it just doesn't make sense. But it's the society we live in. I mean, this is the world of the Kardashians and that kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that's what grabs attention and is considered a star family and all of that. And so I guess it's never going to return to just entertainment or fun. You know, if you look on Buzzer channel, they have that used to be the game show channel. Now it's called Buzzer, and they run the old "What's My Line" and the "I've Got a Secret" and "To Tell the Truth," and I'll tune on there sometimes, you know, and watch them, and they're still enjoyable. And I remember as a kid, I would learn things, you know, from the guests, but people weren't trying to go on there and make idiots out of themselves.
Oh,
it was all very. You had Kitty Carlisle and Orson Bean and you know, yes,
and Dan Poston.
Yes, Tom Poston.
Tom Poston.
And that type of Betsy Palmer and those people were on there, and they were obviously bright, intelligent people who asked interesting questions to find out who the guest was, etc. And it wasn't, you didn't come away from it feeling like, what a bunch of buffoons.
Well, and there again, you know, I see you brought up a good point. You had a good class of panelists.
Yes.
Kitty Carlisle would never act stupid on.
No. She would be dressed to the nines.
She had a grace
elegant.
About her. Yes.
Yes.
And Peggy Cass the same way.
Yes.
She might be not as whatever, but she didn't act stupid.
No, she didn't. No.
Neither did Tom Poston or Orson Bean.
Mm-hmm.
And then on I Got a Secret, you had
Bill Cullen.
You had Betsy Palmer.
That's right.
And Arlene Francis was What's My Line?
What's My Line? Yes.
Yeah, no,
yes.
She was another one who was very
elegant.
graceful. Yes.
Very and she could be funny or say something funny or say something inadvertently and then catch herself and realize.
Yeah.
But it was never, you never felt embarrassed for these people, and a lot of them came to New Hampshire at the Lakes Region Playhouse in the summertime. They would come there. Peggy Cass used to rent a place up on Winnipesaukee, and she would come every summer to the Lakes Region Playhouse in a different play. And you know, but these were people that didn't want to be known for being idiots. I think it sort of started around the time of Richard Dawson and Family Feud, where they started to push the envelope and get more and more provocative and everything else. And it was no longer, you know, you didn't have the very... you know, Betty White was on, and Alan Ludden was a host on Password. And they could joke around, but they didn't embarrass themselves. No. And but today, I think people want their 15 minutes of fame, and they think the way to do that is to act like an idiot.
Oh, I know. It's terrible. Mm-hmm. And I was watching Family Feud last night, and I was saying, Steve Harvey, it's like, you know, I was shaking my head. My wife didn't thought it was, well, she likes him, but to me, it's like he just acts so... whatever.
Well, he pushes the envelope and he pushes it a little bit more.
But I can remember when on Family Feud they'd have the weekday soap operas. They'd have the Battle of the ABC soap operas for charity.
Yes.
And they weren't stupid. They were on there for real. I can remember All My Children taking on One Life to Live or General Hospital or Edge of Night. Ryan's Hope, you know. It was kind of fun to see them, but they were always very, very elegant.
Oh, absolutely.
They weren't foolish actors.
Right, exactly.
But, no, you're right. I mean, TV, I said last night, I said, I'm so sick of game shows. You know, I mean, and Love Connection, get that. That is the most, you seen it recently?
No,
oh, my goodness.
Never.
And of course, what they don't know is Andy Cohen, who's the host of it, is Anderson Cooper's boyfriend. And I didn't know that, you know, but some of the stuff they come out with.
Yeah, it's gotten really ridiculous.
How did you score him? And how did you score her? No, brother. Give me a break. Yeah.
Last time we were talking about on Days of Our Lives about Will coming back. Apparently, he's going to be brought back from the dead. Is how they're going to do. You heard that? Yes.
They're going to say
some doctor is.
It's a doppelganger or something.
Yes, or something.
That got caught in the middle. Yeah. And so that's the original one is coming back.
Yes. Right.
How they're going to do it, they don't know because they're either going to put him. That he was away in San Francisco or whatever, doing his whatever, or somebody's got him, but the one who got killed
Yes.
was either a lookalike or a double, whatever. And,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're all waiting for that because that's all you're reading about.
Yes.
It's going to be really a big rating.
And Sammy's
story,
coming back.
But see, I never watched that show that much.
I didn't either. I occasionally would tune in because I was hearing how controversial it had become a few years ago, and I tuned in. And Alison Sweeney, who played Will's mother, I see her on the Hallmark Channel. She's in the Mystery Things, the Murder She Baked series on that, on the Hallmark. She's a detective, and she used to be the hostess of The Biggest Loser, which was about a weight loss thing. But so I tuned in a few times, and you know, it was enjoyable, but the production values always seemed sort of cheap. But apparently they fired the bad writer and
they did.
all of that, and they brought new people. And Morgan Fairchild comes on tomorrow. She's joining the show, and they're going to try to get the ratings back. And the biggest problem people had was Will's death. They were apparently people tuned out of the show after that. So because he'd been somebody they'd watched for 20-something years grow up from a little boy. So, I mean, it'll be interesting and see how people respond to it. But like we said before, it's sad that soaps have become so rare anymore because they were great escape. They were wonderful, and they were well acted. It was like a repertory company of people. Over the years, you got used to them and liked them and sometimes hated them. Like Lisa, was sometimes mean and nasty, and other times you thought, her wonderful restaurant, the Mona Lisa, and the fashions that she owned and all of that. And it was a nice... You know, these were people that you grew to feel something
and
toward.
Susan Lucci's now on TV ads.
Yeah, I see you coming down the stairs. But she's been in a coma.
That means they're trying to get, I think, all my children back going again because rumors are flying about that one. But I used to love Phoebe Tyler, Ruth Warwick. She had the real zinger there, boy. She was a snob, but oh well. But, I don't know. Concord needs its own soap.
It sure does. Well, there's one out there. They just don't want to talk about it. But we know some of the secrets of this community.
Don't we really?
We could write a book. It would make Peyton Place look tame.
Remember that one? Oh my God, that was back in the 60s. Peyton Place.
The series. And Grace Metalios being right from outside of Concord. Gilmanton, I think.
Gilmanton Ironworks.
Yes. So it's just...
Well, we're coming to a close around town again.
Okay.
I don't know, Paul, where the time goes.
Well, we get on a topic and then we go off to 3 or 4 different ways, but it's fun.
Well, you keep cool, and
you too.
See you in a couple weeks here.
All right.
Thanks for joining us on Around Town with Paul Brogan and myself, and always look us up on Facebook at facebook.com/Concord Speaks, and make sure you like us and tell all your friends. So, with that in mind, thank you to Ian, our director, and you all have a great rest of the month as we get ready for the official start to summer. And I'm your host, Dick Patten. Have a good one.